From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your evening update.
Well, I don't think there's any denying that we have been looking at some very cold temperatures the last several mornings, even in the valley, and of course, obviously, much colder in the higher elevations. We've got another cold morning in store for us here, even for the valley, with the possibility for more frost. If you don't have a garage, you'll most likely have to scrape off those windshields tomorrow morning. Now, it is going to be cooler and unsettled as we go through the rest of the week, starting especially by Wednesday through the rest of the week, this weekend, and even possibly into next week. And snow is something we got to talk about now this time of the year. And with these systems coming through, I'm expecting on average through the week, those snow levels to drop down somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 feet. And of course, that will all depend on where you are in the mountains. So let's get you through the morning and afternoon, and this is what it looks like for the North Coast. The coast staying somewhere in the upper 30s, so there could be some patchy frost in some areas, especially as you just start heading off the coast. Inland, those mid-30s for those overnight lows, and again, could see some frost out there, and obviously, with Trinity County, most likely seeing those much colder temperatures, possibly down into the upper 20s. Now for the valley, I've got temperatures somewhere in the upper 20s to low 30s. It could get locally cooler than that in some spots. You know, we do have some of these areas within the valley where it kind of drops down, some of that cooler air really begins to kind of settle in, and we typically will see those colder temperatures than most areas in the valley will see. So of course you know where you are when you're talking about these temperatures. The bottom line, I think most of us will be right around or just below that freezing point tomorrow morning. And then there you can see for Siskiyou, Modoc County, yes, another cold start to the day, and even into the eastern mountains, we're dropping down into the teens. So yes, another cold one. Now I also need to tell you about a air stagnation advisory for most of Siskiyou County, and not to mention Modoc County. And this is typically when we have what's called a temperature inversion, where the temperature increases with height. That creates a cap in the upper levels of the atmosphere. So any pollutants that are trying to escape can't, which is one of the reasons why typically during these air alerts, it's not a good idea to do a lot of wood burning, including wood burning stoves. So probably try to keep that at a minimum to reduce some of that ash and some of the pollutants that we could see. So just kind of keep that in mind here as we go into the next few days, especially up to the north into Siskiyou, and not to mention into Modoc County as well. This is the area of low pressure I've got my eyes on now. Its projected path, that is expected to move down to the south and to the east. So it's not going to move directly through us, but the flow around that area of low pressure is going to allow us to see some wet weather. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. Not for everybody though, okay? So let's take a look at this. Here is your Tuesday, tomorrow at noon. It's still dry even for the North Coast and really everyone else. But we're going to start to see those clouds on the increase through the afternoon. I'm expecting by late afternoon, early evening, we start to see some of those showers hitting the North Coast. Inland, the coast, and you'll notice still Trinity County for the most part staying dry at this point. Now as we go into the overnight hours, Tuesday into early Wednesday morning, we've got the north flow of that area of low pressure. So the flow is doing something like this. Okay, so there's a chance we could see a little bit of activity even making its way into parts of Siskiyou County, but those chances are slimmer. I'm thinking it's going to be mainly south of Siskiyou County where most of the activity will be. Now even this won't be all that impressive. So some light showers late tomorrow night, early Wednesday morning, and then we could see some snow making its way into Lassen and starts parts of Plumas County as well. Snow levels here will probably be around 3,500 to 4,000 feet. So Bernie, Susanville, you all could be looking at maybe some light snow amounts. But notice we're not seeing really anything making its way into Modoc or even Siskiyou County. So really for Wednesday, I'm keeping you dry for Siskiyou and Modoc County. But again, south of that, there could be some activity here, especially over the first part of the day on Wednesday. Because look at Wednesday by noon. It's all pretty much out of here and should be dry through Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday night as well. So the chances for showers are really mainly in the early morning hours on Wednesday. Now, we're going to take a look at the long range here. And as you see, as we go into Thursday afternoon, maybe some more snow. But now we're starting to see the potential for snow in Siskiyou County and even eventually even Modoc County, and maybe some light showers possibly for parts of the valley as well. We take you into your Friday. Most of it's off to the north and west. We take you into Friday night. Yeah, maybe some activity pushing on through. But look at Saturday. At least based on this model, it's dry, but then maybe more activity coming in on Sunday. Now, what's interesting, if you notice here, as we get towards this weekend, we're going to see this little arc in the clouds. Number one, this is what we could even categorize as an atmospheric river. It's kind of moving off to the north and east. So that'll kind of push a little bit to the south and could bring in some rain early next week into Tuesday and even into that next Wednesday, the potential for some wet weather for the north coast. However, with high pressure kind of trying to push that activity northward, we're going to be hard pressed to see any rainfall anywhere else. But bottom line is we're getting more into a cooler and unsettled weather pattern starting Wednesday across the board, and then that pattern should last at least through the weekend. Now, looking at the rainfall amounts, I'm seeing a lot of discrepancies in the long-range forecast models. This one in particular, through Sunday, wants to bring anywhere from 3 to even close to 5 inches of rain for the north coast. No. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near that. We take you into the valley and it's showing anywhere from, say, a few hundredths to upwards of maybe a quarter of an inch of rainfall. That may be closer to reality. However, I still think that might be overdoing it through Sunday. What I'm showing you now is the GFS forecast model. This is going to take you through Sunday. Now notice, taking you through Sunday, 11 a.m., we're only looking at upwards of a few hundredths to maybe a tenth of an inch of rainfall. So again, a few hundredths to a quarter, not out of the question for the valley. But look at this. Nothing, absolutely nothing being reported, or at least forecast by this particular forecast model for Modoc County or even Lassen County. But I don't think that's true either. So you kind of have to take the one forecast model that we were just looking at that's overdoing it. Then you look at this forecast model that's underdoing it, and you try to find that happy medium in there, right? So I'm leaning closer to this solution, but I want to say that there's going to be some measurable precipitation off to the east as well. Let's take a look at the wave heights, and you can see as we take you through Tuesday, we're really not going to see those wave heights increase a whole lot. Winds will be from the southeast at 5 to 10 knots, waves from the southwest at 3 feet at 6 seconds, and from the west at 5 feet at about 13 seconds. And of course, as you can see, no advisories in the forecast. Here's what it looks like tonight. Yes, it's going to be cold. Now again, keep in mind, I think locally lower in some places around the Reading area in particular, we can kind of get some of those areas that really get sheltered by the winds, are down a little bit lower. Some of the cooler air begins to settle in as well. And that can tend to drop those temperatures down into the 20s for some of us in the valley as well. But overall, mainly in the low 30s for the valley. Teens and 20s off in the eastern mountains. Looks like somewhere in the mid to upper 20s for Siskiyou County. And there you can see those mid to upper 20s for parts of Trinity County as well. Mid to upper 30s inland and for the coast, generally in the low 40s tonight. Now we take you to tomorrow, and temperatures not warming up a whole lot. In fact, we're going to start to see those temperatures begin to dip. And we'll probably be looking at temperatures low 60s for the valley for your Tuesday, a low to mid 40s for the eastern mountains, mid to upper 40s for Siskiyou County. There's Trinity County in the mid 50s, low 60s inland, and then we've got those upper 50s to low 60s here for the coast. Looking at your 7-day outlook, and this is really just going to kind of help to spell out that unsettled weather pattern. So for Mount Shasta, starting Thursday, you've got a chance for snow flurries, and that'll continue off and on all the way into early next week. Those snow levels may climb a little bit here as we do go into early next week as that high pressure starts to try to build in, and that's if we can get that activity kind of move that far south. For Alturas, again, dry for your Tuesday and not to mention Wednesday. And then by Thursday, you've got the chance for snow flurries down to as low as 3,500 feet at times. For Susanville, dry for your Tuesday, dry for your Wednesday. Then by Thursday through at least this weekend, we've got the potential for off and on chances for snow and a bit of a rain-snow mix in there. Taking a look at the valley. Now, I've got a chance for showers in there as early as Wednesday, but that'll be mainly in the first half of the day on Wednesday, and then off and on chances through early next week. Keep in mind, not every single day we're going to be looking at rain, because when we're looking at these types of unsettled weather patterns, they tend to change rapidly from one forecast model to the other, making it very difficult past even 3 days to predict exactly when that rain is going to occur. So this is the type of weather forecast, and this is the type of weather pattern that you need to keep a close eye and keep it tuned here to Weather NorCal and watch at any time. That's the beauty of what I'm doing here. I record 3 different weather segments a day, and you can watch the latest one anytime you want at any point in the day and check the latest forecast. But there you can see the chance for showers as early as tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening for the coast and inland, but still dry for Weaverville, Trinity County. And then off and on chances for rain for pretty much everyone else all the way through the weekend and possibly even into early next week.